Welcome to the Max Rally preview for Rally of Finland. What we're going to do this time is we're going to take you on a ride through one of the new stages of this year's Rally Finland. It's special stage 2, Torittu. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but what we're going to do is we're going to go in this wonderful little Skoda Citigo. Perhaps the first time a 3-litre Skoda Citigo has been through a stage of the World Rally Championship. George Donaldson is with me. We're going to have a look at the stage, we'll look at the characteristics of the stage, and we'll discuss the rally. Let's go.
My name being mentioned in vain. What was it called?
Get in.
What is it called?
Okay, well here we go. It is stage 2, Torittu, as I said. It's about 7.5–8 kilometres long. It's a new stage in this year's rally, and George, recce day, 2 or 3 days before the rally starts. It's raining, it's wet, it's quite damp, this surface.
Well, Colin, when it's like this, the small amount of rain, you're turning left here by the way, the small amount of rain firms up that surface. It makes the stage faster initially. Ultimately, when it gets very wet, it makes it slower. But right now, that stage is a lot more grip than when it's dry. It's amazing. So far, what we're seeing is classic Finnish big wide road we're starting on. Just 200 metres, we've turned onto this narrower, but still classic, well-established road that will not damage very much at all. This is a great bit of road.
Remarkably narrow, George. Look at these here. These are jumps, I'm assuming. They're...
First one, maybe not. That'll just be light. The car will be light there. And they'll keep the car on the road because it'd be far too hard to land on the next rise. The car will be light on all of these. It'll just hop and skip. You've got to keep it on the road because you need to keep turning. In the air, you're in the trees. So it's just a question of just keeping the car. Again, there's a good firm edge to the road, so I imagine there'll be a lot of cutting on this column.
Well, I think there may well be. George, your Rally Finland, clearly, once the rally starts, the Finnish boys will be the boys to watch. I've got Jari-Matti Latvala down as having a real chance of adding to his one victory in the Volkswagen, but the big but with any of all, with any, I suppose, forecast prediction for rallying right now is Sebastian Ogier. Ogier in the finest form of his life, in the very best car. You have to say though, Latvala will push him hard this weekend, but can Mikko Harvinen get into the mix as well, George?
Well, he certainly has to. He has to, and there's a huge amount of peer group pressure, of personal pressure to really lift the game. And his past performance, last couple of years, he won in 2009, but he's always been in the mix until then. Just a wee bit slower, Colin. Thank you. Colin getting carried away there. But Sebastian Ogier, he wants to prove, you know, just to himself, I mean, that he is every bit the measure of his countryman and namesake, Sebastian Loeb.
Look at this.
Fabulous stuff.
A little bit, George, a little bit of the handbrake. You've taught me how to do that. Just a little bit. You wouldn't really there, though, would you?
It's the way the car would set up on that. Colin, this is a new stage. It's an absolute classic so far.
Beautiful
this
stage.
Is an unbelievably enjoyable stage. I want to drive this stage.
No, you can't, because I'm driving. I was talking with my friend Per Christian from Norwegian Rally Radio yesterday. He was asking me about who I thought would win this event. And you know what, George? I didn't mention any of the Ford drivers. Now, again, we talk about drivers who need a result. George, can you get some air on this windscreen? We're getting a bit fogged up here. That's because I'm talking so much hot air, I suppose. You know, I didn't really mention the Ford drivers, but you'd have to say Mads Osberg has found some pace this year. Neuville is finding pace and consistency. Novikov, oh, well, he's in a strange place right now, Novikov, but we know he can be very fast. What do you think? Can the Ford boys mix it up this weekend with perhaps our 3 favourites, with Ogier, with Latvala, with the, I'm concentrating here, no, with Mikko Harvinen. I think I've got to be the top 3. What about the Ford boys?
Absolutely. Mads Osberg, for me, is the strongest of those 3 competitors here. Perhaps, at least initially, you would say that Evgeny Novikov will
Evgeny, George, you keep calling him Evgeny. Is it Evgeny or Evgeny?
Who cares? He's a nice guy. It starts with E. Y. We'll call him Y. He will go incredibly well, but here he can't afford to make the type of mistakes he's made in previous events. You will have an enormous accident here, which is too serious to think about. You can't have that. He cannot afford that type of mistake. So perhaps we'll see a more careful event from Evgeny, and he will need to measure himself. So he is really under a bit of personal pressure just to pull it back a little bit. That might put him in a position where he can feed on his own ability and come good, and I'd love to see that happening. Okay. But he needs to do something special.
What about Mads Osberg, George? Osberg, difficult start to the year, #1 driver at the M Sport team, shown increased pace this year. That's absolutely undoubted. but he's not got to the finish enough. He's used Super Rally too much. Can he put that right here?
I compared, in a discussion with Mads, I compared Mads' career, Mads' approach to Richard Burns. It's exactly what he's like. He's measured,
Absolutely.
he's incredibly fast, he's paced, and he thinks about everything, and he evaluates what's going on. Mads can win here. There is no doubt about that. The car, I imagine, can win here. So yes, for me, Mads is a definite contender. But does he have that last crazy edge? Well, every time he's tried to do it this year, he's fallen foul, which normally Mads can avoid. So he needs to find that little bit extra safety.
Safety, perhaps, yeah, and may that take the edge though off his pace. I think that's possible.
I think other drivers, with Evgeny, it might take the edge off him. But with Mads, I think Mads can do it. So perhaps when you're talking to your friend Per Christian, you might have made a wee mistake.
I think so.
I think Mads is a definite.
I'll give you that, George. I'll give you that. I think I should have put Mads in there. But I'd have to say, if you're asking me for a Ford driver who might end up on the podium, my money would be on Thierry Neuville. He is improving rally by rally. He's found consistency. He's finding pace. He lacks experience of these rallies, but I think Neuville has the possibility to get on the podium. And let's go through, Josh, because we're getting well through this stage. I think remember, it's a short one. Can't talk too much. But listen, let's. I'll move you on from that, George, because there are other drivers this weekend who I think you have to throw into the mix, certainly for a podium. Chris Meek in the Citroen World Rally car. You've got P.E. Anderson in the Ford. You've got a couple of Finnish drivers. Jarkko Nakara in the Mini. You've got, who's the other guy that was at the test in the DMAC car, George? Remind me in the DMAC where you've got.
Oh, the R5
is that an R5s? Okay, well, he's not. Jari Ketema, well, he's not going to get into the mix. But certainly those three that we talked about there: P.E. Anderson, Chris Meek, Jarkko Nakara. If things go their way, George, one of those boys could easily find themselves in the top 5 and maybe on the podium.
Colin, it comes down to one thing: match fitness. And those guys are not match fit, unfortunately.
Right.
They have the talent, but they're not match fit. This rally, ultimately, to be able to push for those 3 podium positions, Colin, there will not be a minute between them. There is no way in the world, with the best will in the world, that Chris Meek, P.E. Anderson could fight for a podium here. Realistically,
I'll agree with that, but
they could play on luck. They could play on luck if they have the ability.
There's a lake.
To throw their
Rally of 1,000 lakes, George. There's a lake. Fantastic.
And the other thing for Thierry Neuville, you were talking about Thierry Neuville. Thierry needs to pull back a little bit on this one, because he's another one. He's got the pace. He's got the pace to do the performance on this rally, but he hasn't got the experience. There are dark places, dark experiences to discover about this rally. This is a scary event for drivers.
No, I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree with that.
If he tries to push too hard, he may find one of those dark places and it's the big accident.
Okay, that's different.
Just go to a limit that is within yourself, and you will find out what can happen, and he'll come back next year a much stronger driver. He'll go away from here a much stronger driver. He'll come back here next year with a chance to win. If he could finish 3rd or 4th, Thierry Neuville, that would be an amazing result from him. A couple of maybe fastest or very close to fastest times on the pace, but rocking it backwards and forwards. If he tries for more than that, I'm sorry, he's going to have a huge accident.
I agree with you. I don't think he should try and push any more than where he's at, but for Thierry Neuville to take a step back in terms of his pace, I think that's the wrong thing for him to do. He's very comfortable at the pace. He's increased his pace steadily, and he should certainly not be looking to move backwards, but he needs to exercise a lot of caution in this event. He needs to use his brain. What I know about Neuville, he's an intelligent young man. He's a man who knows what he's got to do. He had a difficult year last year, but as he keeps saying, look, first time at these rallies, you make mistakes. If you're pushing to the limit, you make mistakes.
Colin,
he's now finding consistency. Anyway, Josh, let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about this road again.
Let's talk about this road. Colin, this is a short little stage. My goodness,
magnificent stage. Here we go.
You could do the whole rally on this. It's the most wonderful stage I've ever been on. I am ecstatic. A brand new stage in Finland, and it's an instant classic.
Here we go. There's the flying finish for the stage. Wonderful stage, 7 and a bit kilometres long. George, as we make our way to the stop line, which is where I'll be, I think, on Thursday afternoon. 1, 2, 3, very quickly at 1, 2, 3, George, because we've only got a few metres to go.
Jari Matti, Sebastian Ogier, Mads Osberg.
Right, I'm going to say Ogier, Jari Matti and Mikko Havnen is my 1, 2, 3. There you go, follow everything, all the news, the gossip, the latest updates from Rally Finland. They'll all be on maxrally.com. I have to say a quick word for the Skoda Citigo. George, It coped with that rather well, and it was quite a comfortable drive through there.
I'm waiting for the. I mean, it was good. It was good. I'm waiting for the turbocharged RS version, VRS version of the Citigo. Yes, please.
Yeah, you might not have to wait too long for that. As I say, maxrally.com for all the news on Rally Finland.